Hey friends, welcome to Flower Hill, the presidential mansion at the University of Montevallo where Hannah and I met in 1996. We didn't start dating until around 1997, I think it was. But one of our first dates, one of our most infamous dates, occurred right here on Flower Hill. Come on and let's talk about it. You may recall that I've told the story before about Hannah and I having friends that lived in those apartments right there across from Flower Hill. And this big lawn, this is the presidential lawn. And while we were visiting friends over at the apartment, we decided to come out on the lawn. And I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to show off my prowess to Hannah about my average athletics. And so, complete with a football and an audience of 100 or so kids out here on the lawn doing everything from studying to throwing the frisbee to anything else that kids would do on a beautiful spring day. Hannah and I started throwing the football back and forth, and I was a long snapper in high school, which really means that there was just no other kid who could do it. I wasn't very good at it, but I wanted to try to show off. And so right out here on the lawn in front of Hannah, this girl that I was courting, in front of all those kids, that some of whom I didn't know and some of them I did, and they never forgot, I reared back to snap that football to Hannah between my legs, and when I did, my pants split from one end to the other. And so thus, Flower Hill has become a mainstay of the memories we celebrate in our marriage. And though it is beautiful, and the memories are funny, not all of the times we've had together have been good. And so our time here on Flower Hill is a time that we often look back on and laugh, and at great expense to my own ego. And so Flower Hill has become a mainstay, if you will, of the memories, one of the memories that we celebrate when we talk about our early days of courtship. This place is beautiful, and it holds great memories for us. And it truly is one of the places where one of the first seeds of our courtship were planted. In fact, our first date started out of those apartments right back there. Our first kiss was right there at that stop sign. How about that? Great memories here. Great heartwarming things that were, at the time, probably just little tiny seedlings that were planted in a relationship that I think has grown into a beautiful flowering tree. And so it's important that I celebrate those good things while I'm here at Flower Hill and laugh about the funny of the embarrassing things that have happened. But it's also important that I acknowledge, and that we acknowledge, that in life sometimes we make bad decisions. You know, that night, not too long after we had been married in February, and it started snowing, and I said, let's go camping. And Hannah and I lived in Centerville, which was about maybe, 30 miles from here. And I knew a great camping spot that was about halfway in between here and Centerville. I knew it from our days here in college. And so I loaded my young wife up in the truck. We drove through the snow that night, went way deep into the Pea Ridge forest, and got stuck. I made a bad decision. I didn't plan. I didn't think it through. I was probably presumptuous in my own abilities and probably just a bit irrational in what I thought was a good idea. And let me just confess to you that there have been plenty of times that my poorly made plans have failed because of a lack of counsel. Not even a lack of good counsel, but just a lack of counsel in general. And so I will tell you that I have learned through the years to appreciate Hannah because she's so forgiving when I make those stupid plans. And sometimes she'll even tag along with me knowing that the plan is going to fail for a lack of counsel. And so I embrace her with humility because I know she is good counsel. And so I want to encourage you, friends, today to remember that we don't have it all figured out. You know, sometimes as Christians, we think that we should know all the answers and we're embarrassed. We're hesitant to admit that we don't. I can tell you that I think there's only one man that knew all the answers, and that was Jesus himself. I think there's one book that has a lot of the answers in them, and through a lot of prayer and meditation and study and worship, we can find most of the answers to life questions in that book. But along the way, it's a pretty good idea to have good counsel. And so I know post-COVID especially, a lot of folks retreated away from the church. And I want to encourage you to go back. I want to encourage you to build a relationship with your pastor, with your deacons, with your brothers and sisters in your old Sunday school class, or even in the Sunday school class you're still going to, because we all need good counsel. I know this, I'm the worst plan maker I know. I'm the only person I know that's ever got stuck in the snow in Alabama with his new bride. I need good counsel. And I know that a really good place for me to find good counsel is with like-minded Christian brothers and sisters. And the only way to be able to get that counsel is to build relationships, stretcher bearers, if you will. And so I'll just challenge you real quickly to look in the book of Matthew and read the story where Jesus was teaching in a house, and there was a lame man, and his 4 friends picked him up and carried him on a stretcher through the crowd. And when they couldn't get in the door, they dug a hole through the roof and lowered the man down in front of Jesus as he taught. And they did so just so he could be healed. That's the kind of counsel. That's the kind of friends we need in our life. That's who my wife is to me. I hope you have that too. I hope you have that not only in your marriage, but in your friendships. But if you don't, we got to be a stretcher bearer to have stretcher bearers. We need to be good counsel to get good counsel. But it all goes back to relationships. And so I know a good place to get good counsel and have good relationships is with friends and family and loved ones who are like-minded. But the best place to get good counsel is through prayer and meditation and study, because Jesus will never give you any bad advice. And so this Sunday morning, friends, I pray that you'll laugh a little bit at your past mistakes, find humility in your failures, but don't hold on to them like an anchor that's going to drown you. And then look forward to making a plan with good counsel. For with good counsel, we'll often find that things go well. I hope y'all have a great day. I love y'all.